Today, we are redefining what advocacy means in dental hygiene. No suits, no podiums, just the power of you and your voice. Stay tuned. Hey friends, welcome back to the Grow RDH podcast. My name is Katie. I am a dental hygienist from South Dakota. And here on this podcast, we just like to talk everything dental hygiene. We get to get real about our work life. We talk a lot about professional growth and how to find meaning in this chosen profession of dental hygiene that we have all entered into collectively. I don't think it's news anymore about what has been happening in the dental hygiene community, in the dentistry community. I've talked a lot about it on the podcast up to this point, and I'm going to continue talking about it because things keep happening. So for the whole month of June, we're going to be talking about advocacy, but don't sign off yet. We are going to be redefining what it means. And I think that when you get to the grassroots meaning of what advocacy is, you might realize that you're probably already even doing it, and maybe you just don't even know. I think it's really important for us to enter every single day into our profession advocating for that profession. You've chosen this career. It's important to take ownership of it because every dental hygienist is representing the profession of dental hygiene. So this month, we are going to talk about different ideas of what you think advocacy is versus what it really needs to be. And I was in clinic all day, so I'm still in my clinic garb here. I really wanted to get this podcast recorded and posted. I worked today and then we had softball practice. So here I am, Thursday night. This episode will come out in the morning. So hopefully it's relevant and it is something that can inspire you to keep moving forward with positivity. And that's what I really want this focus of this month to be, is the positivity and advocacy. Some of this can be so negative or so controversial. It feels like a fight all the time, and it shouldn't. And while sometimes there are definitely feelings of being defeated and getting down about the current landscape and the current environment of what dentistry is today. But I want these episodes to be highlighting the positivity and the inspiration for what dental hygiene can be and should be and how we get it there, right? If we're frustrated, there are things that we can do collectively to get us where we want to be. And that's the power in numbers. We have a lot of dental hygienists around the nation. This episode is for all of you. Every single one of you, whether you are an ADHA member, whether you are not an ADHA member, and just what it means. This is personal to all of us, but I am going to share how it has personally impacted me. In October, Dakota Dental Association brought forward coronal scaling for assistants. The South Dakota Dental Hygienists Association worked tirelessly to get it shut down. Unfortunately, it wasn't a legislative change. It was a change made in the rule, which only required it to go to the Board of Dentistry, which is a team of 5 dentists, 1 hygienist, and 1 layperson from the community. This is hard because you have 1 voice out of 7, and we collectively, as a state association, came together. We did surveys, we showed real data in the state of South Dakota, and we advocated for dental hygienists in South Dakota's scope of practice, and we were successful. The Board of Dentistry did not accept the rule changes, and we successfully shut it down. So when it hits you close to home, this is when you really start to see, like, wow, this makes a difference. I think it's so important, if it's not hitting you close to home, to talk to others who have been personally impacted by a lot of these changes. And I know this isn't new, this is kind of trending, but let's look at Nevada. Nevada is another perfect example of when this hits close to home, people mobilize close to home. And that's where advocacy really makes a difference, when it's grassroots. Yes, the ADHA really supports the states, But where we need the support most is in the state associations, because it's the state's responsibility to advocate for their specific practice act and scope of practice. And those smaller state associations need funding and they need money to pay lobbyists. Lobbyists are not cheap, and the funding that the states get from the ADHA, from your membership, only goes so far. It takes letters, it takes testimony, and it takes a lot of work to mobilize a group in order to advocate for something active, something that's actually going on. So I think that's how I wanted to start off the episode, is to show how when it personally impacts you, it really does make a difference. You feel it because it could impact your job or your pay or something that will directly impact you in your place of work. Next, I want to sort of define advocacy. We throw that word around quite a bit. So what is advocacy? I feel like advocacy can kind of be intimidating, right? We think advocacy, we think power suits, legislative lobbyists on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. And while that is true, there are a variety of different ways that advocacy plays a role in your profession. So let's talk about the 3 different types of advocacy. The first is what I just described. That's political advocacy. That is legislatures and lobbyists and people working together to make legislative changes. So that is under the umbrella, obviously, of advocacy. The second type of advocacy is professional advocacy. This is advocacy that you do for your profession. This can be in your place of work, advocating if you have a team of hygienists, advocating for your role in your workplace. It could also be in your industry. And for us, that is the larger dental industry in general. Finally, there's patient advocacy, right? A lot of the times this trickles down to patients. So advocating for patients, for example, the safety and the concerns behind coronal scaling, is what we do for our patients, educating our patients on how we are educated, educating our patients on different type of licensure and different types of levels of professional dentistry. This advocacy is also important and something that you can do day to day. Do you have your license very visible in your operatory? Do you have your bachelor's degree certificate hanging up in your operatory? All of these things seem simple, seem silly, but just those 2 things alone, showing off your license, showing off your degree and your diploma, and all of the things that you are certified to do, showing those things, that's an advertisement to the patients, showing them your credentials. That is something simple to do, but plays a huge role in the patient understanding of how we're educated. It could spark a conversation, right? Maybe somebody doesn't know your education and they ask about your diploma or ask about where you went to school. That's the perfect time to educate them on how dental hygienists are educated. So 3 types of advocacy: political, professional, and patient. PPP. I love alliteration. Next, I want to talk about some examples of local state advocacy. We have heard all over social media about Nevada's advocacy. This went viral, and for good reason. But this should be in every single state. That momentum and that mobilization of dental hygienists should be happening all over the nation. And I'm hoping that this awareness is going to do that. It's going to mobilize everybody. So what happened in Nevada, if you haven't heard, is that the Nevada Dental Association brought forward legislation for on-the-job trained hygienists. This means not even an associate's degree, just on-the-job trained, using a certification like a weekend course. I don't know all the details. What I do know is that people came out of the woodworks to speak out against this. And I posted this on our SDDHA page, but Erin Haley Hintz, the president of ADHA, also posted on it. So go check out her page. The American Academy of Oral Medicine and the Academy of General Dentistry both wrote letters of opposition in testimony against this bill. That alone was huge. Those are 2 very large dental associations that are speaking out against the ADA. That is a big win for the dental hygiene profession. And I think that's going to help build the momentum to show that the ADA is sort of standing alone in this. There's a couple other things that have been going on here. And so I did some research online. I hope that all of this is accurate. I took it a lot from different state associations' websites. So if any of these are kind of off a little bit, I apologize, but this is what I found. These are some current wins for dental hygienists. In Kentucky, we had House Bill passed. This allows public health RDHs to work in FQHCs. We have 10 states already that have put into legislation or rule, whatever it is in their state, the Dental and Dental Hygiene Compact. 10 states is huge. That's 1/5 of all the states. So a lot of the states have kind of been sitting and waiting and watching. They want to not be the first ones to do it. I know South Dakota is kind of in that waiting and watching. There's not enough states that have kind of moved forward. We're always slower to act than the rest of the nation. And so the more states that take this on, the more that other states are going to see this. And again, this means that hygienists can move state to state easier and practice across state lines easier. We have some Medicaid improvements. This was in states Nebraska, Ohio, and Colorado, all increased dental hygiene reimbursement through Medicaid. Another win in better access to care for patients and better reimbursement for hygienists. That's a huge win. We also have states that have actively shut down coronal scaling and or coronal polishing. Recently, within the last year, those states are Nevada, South Dakota, Montana, and Wisconsin. And that is just the short list. That's a short list of what I could find today after work. But what that should tell you is that there is a lot of momentum going forward into showing governing bodies that the dental hygiene profession is here to stay. So here's where I'm just going to challenge you a little bit. I want to think about things that you're already doing to advocate. And I think that we all advocate. It's just an intentional action towards education. So here's all things that you can do that are forms of advocacy. So here's a list, and tell me if this applies to you. You can write down in the comments, but have you ever corrected a patient's misunderstanding about what a hygienist does? How many times do we get called the dental nurse or the dental assistant? I know I have been called that many times, and that's okay. I'm not offended by that. It's just an opportunity to educate a patient about the differences of what a dental assistant does and what a dental hygienist does. Two different profession types. Not one is greater or lesser than the other. They're just different. The next one is, have you ever spoke up in a staff meeting about overdiagnosing or a perio protocol that is wrong? That is advocacy. It's advocating for dental hygiene education, and it's advocating for a patient. So if you've done that, you have advocated. Next one, have you ever posted educational content about dental hygiene online? Social media, there's a ton of it, right? If you've ever shared a post about dental hygiene, about the link between perio and cardiovascular disease, or the link between perio and Alzheimer's, if you've done that, you have advocated. Have you ever taken a new hire or a new student under your wing? Shown them the ropes, helped them with professional development, been a mentor? If you have done that, and if you've been a mentor to someone that you've worked with, that is advocacy. Have you ever taken a CE course about ethics and jurisprudence? I know that some states have this as a requirement. You are required to keep up with your state scope of practice, but some states do not. I am in South Dakota. We do not have an ethics and jurisprudence requirement. But if you have, even if it's required, that is advocacy. And the last one, have you ever joined your state and national association? Even if you don't want to get involved in your state association or help or serve on the board, just joining or attending their events or buying something off of their silent auction, supporting your state and local associations, support them to obtain a lobbyist. Lobbyists are essential for fighting legislation. So financially supporting those organizations is so appreciated and so valued because it is necessary for them to do what they need to do to advocate on your behalf. All of these examples are forms of advocacy, and I just want to inspire you and empower you to do even the simplest things. If you want to advocate in your operatory, I have a beautiful PDF. Go to my website, growrdh.org. It's a free download. All you have to do is sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter just gives you an email every Friday when I post a new episode. There's no spam. It's just one email a week with the new episode. That's it. And you will get a free download. It's a PDF infographic, and I'll post it here. This is for free on my website. Go download it, print it out, and hang it up in your operatory. It is a great conversation starter, and it shows what we do as dental hygienists, how we advocate. If you hang this up in your operatory, this is going to be huge in just starting a conversation with a patient about what makes dental hygiene so special and so unique. So hopefully this empowers you. Here's a couple things that you can do to just get started. The first one is just pay attention. A lot is happening on the legislative side. If you go to ADHA and log in, you have a whole list of everything that's going on divided out by state. So even if you aren't super involved in your state association, you still have that as a member of ADHA. Just go log into your portal and you will see what is going on in your state. Normalize professional conversations. Have those conversations with patients, with people out on the street that are talking about, I don't understand what's going on with this dental hygiene stuff. Just spread the word. And please connect with your local association. If you are in a state, please even just go follow them on social media so you are aware of what's going on in your state. Again, it directly impacts your scope of practice. So if you're concerned that you don't know what's happening in your state, just go follow their page and make sure you're keeping up with, if they have a newsletter. I know in South Dakota, we have a newsletter that we send out. All of those things are going to help you stay informed and stay involved. You don't need some big title to be an advocate. You don't need to know anything about legislative process, although I do recommend it. You just have to speak up. You just have to support, right? And there are simple, easy ways that we can do that. So I'm looking forward to this month because we are going to be talking about advocacy in different ways all throughout the month. I'm super excited. Next week's episode is Power Partnerships. This is going to be about enhancing and developing your relationship with your dentist. Looking for green flags, supporting green flags. The goal is to show what a strong professional relationship looks like. And I would love to highlight any personal stories that you guys have. So please, if you have a story about professional partnerships that are awesome and that you've developed over time, please share them in the comments. And I would love to just reach out to me, Katie at growrdh.org, and I would love to share them on the podcast as well. We're going to be looking at green flags in the dentist-dental hygiene relationship. So stay tuned. If you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you on the next episode next Friday.